Alright, for what should be the last time, it's just me talking about E3, and I wanted to talk about Sony's press conference, because they were in the lead, and Microsoft was everyone was upset about, and Microsoft kind of disappointed me in the morning. PlayStation 4 came out with their stuff, and I think they won, and now I'm going to tell you why, okay? Sony's press conference started, and they talked about similar kind of setup as the last Microsoft conference that was when they announced it with the entertainment stuff and all that. They talked about some streaming stuff. They talked about still supporting PlayStation 3 and Vita and all that stuff. And then they kind of went on, after a while, into the stuff that people really wanted to see, which was the PlayStation 4 stuff. They showed us a couple things. One was The Order, which is a new Ready at Dawn game. Looked kind of interesting, I guess. It didn't really show us much. Then they showed us a bunch of games we had seen before from the last press conference, Killzone and Drive Club and Infamous and Knack and all those things, and then they actually announced that those games, aside from Infamous, will be launch titles. So Killzone, Drive Club, Knack will be launch. So they actually told us some of the launch games, something that Microsoft did not do. And we got a look at this Dark Sorcerer clip, which was like a demo of things that Quantic Dream can do. People that made Heavy Rain and Indigo Prophecy and now Beyond Two Souls coming soon. At first I was kind of like, this is really impressive, right? The facial animations and the expressions and the emotion that the character was giving. And then it took a turn and it kind of became this funny joke thing, I guess, about trailers at E3 anyways. Kind of clever, kind of cool. The whole thing will be out tomorrow, I guess, so whatever. Then they showed us a bunch of like kind of indie-focused stuff, which I kind of said that indie was one of the things I was wondering about this generation, with Microsoft staying as they were, PlayStation deciding to let them just, like an open platform for indie developers. And once again, they did a focus here. They showed, they had a Transistor by Supergiant Games. They came out, those are the guys who did Bastion, which was a sweet game. And they showed their new game, and they're not, I don't think they said it was, exclusive, but still showing indie support, and it was there. Then they showed a bunch of other indie games, Don't Starve, and a bunch of other stuff. I could go into all of it, but I doubt you want to hear that right now. You can look it up if you're interested. Some of them look pretty cool. But the last one, I think it was the last one. No, not quite, but close to the last one, was Lorne Lanning with Oddworld Inhabitants doing a HD remake of Abe's Odyssey. Or not Oddworld. Alright, not Abe's Odyssey, but the first one. So, and they're calling it, New and Tasty. So anyways, I was kind of psyched for that, because Oddworld was a sweet game back on PlayStation 1, and nice to see it back. So then they started talking about Diablo 3, and saying that it was going to be on PlayStation 3 also, not just PlayStation 4, and they said there was going to be PlayStation-themed exclusive items. Whatever, not a big deal. Right now you're probably wondering why they won, if you didn't see it, but we'll get to that. Then they started talking about Square, and normally probably wouldn't be such a big deal. I mean, we kind of talked about Final Fantasies have dropped off quite a bit, but they had a video from the guy who was doing Versus 13, and he had a trailer, and basically what I think they showed us, it was kind of confusing, was that Versus 13 is now 15. So Final Fantasy 15 is, or was Versus 13 or whatever, and they like redid it to be 15. It was confusing. Looked pretty cool. Looked impressive, looked interesting, looked like something different. So, again, maybe Japanese developers are finally experimenting a little. And so they did that, and everyone was excited about that. And then he said, I have another trailer for you. And the next trailer that probably came up caused probably the biggest stir on, forums and Twitter and all that stuff, which was finally, after years of people asking for it and wondering what was going on with it, Kingdom Hearts 3. So, yeah, Kingdom Hearts 3. It's coming out. Whether it's a good or bad thing, I guess we'll see. But they've been pretty solid games for the most part over the years, and it'll be interesting to see if maybe they get to add some Marvel or Star Wars stuff in it. So, since Disney owns that now. So, guess we'll wait and see. And then they showed us a bunch of stuff that isn't exclusive, but just had exclusive content for the PlayStation 4. They showed us Assassin's Creed 4, they showed us Watch Dogs, and Elder Scrolls Online, and yeah, all these games look interesting and cool and whatever, but it wasn't really exclusive games. But at least they were showing that they were there. The Assassin's Creed demo had some technical difficulties, it seemed, and kept freezing, and at the end I think it was kind of cut off because of it. So I don't know if that's a warning or not, but it shouldn't be. Like we've said before, these are pretty similar systems. They have similar hardware, so shouldn't be a cell issue like last time. And then they showed us what we would find out was Mad Max. I don't really know why this was a big deal at this conference, why they felt it needed to be shown. I guess it looked interesting, and it seems to be some sort of movie tie-in for the new movie they're making, but yeah, it's kind of weird. But after that, this is when the conference took a turn. This is when they basically planted their flag and said, this is our generation. And the first thing they did was they came out and they said, use games. Not an issue. No restrictions, just do it how you've always been doing it. Trade them in if you want, keep them if you want, give them to people if you want, lend them to people if you want. Same as it's always been, no restrictions on that kind of stuff, which of course people went crazy for because that was a hot topic. And then they backed that up right away by saying, also you do not need to be online to play the PlayStation 4. So places without internet, you have your new next generation system that you're going to get. They also, said, you won't need to connect every 24 hours, you won't need to do any of that. If you want to be online, you can be online. If you don't have to. It's nice that they gave us that choice. Which led them to talking about PlayStation Plus. It'll keep going, it'll carry over, so you don't have to, your subscription's void if you get a PlayStation 4, and it doesn't matter. It'll matter. It'll be less than $5 a month. I think that's pretty much the same price as it's always been, but yeah. So it'll be there, and it'll still kind of be similar to how it was, but they kind of snuck in at this point or tried to sneak in, I guess. It seems like everybody caught on to it, luckily, because it was kind of a concern for me when they said it, which was, you're going to need to pay to play multiplayer games now. Something that was only an Xbox 360 thing this last generation, and PlayStation 3 was free to play multiplayer games. Now they're kind of even there, where you have to pay for both. So free online play is no longer a thing on consoles, just PCs, I guess. Oh well, it was great while it lasted. And so then we came to the Destiny showing. Again, this is an exclusive game. It's a multi-platform game, but definitely they have a strong push for this game on PlayStation 4. They showed it at their initial press conference, or they showed some trailers, whatever. They had Bungie come out and talk about it, and they came out again here, and this time they actually showed gameplay, and I thought it looked sweet. I thought it looked interesting. I thought it was similar in style to Halo, which I guess is to be expected. It's the same people. I mean, they created Halo. It wasn't going to be a completely different game or look completely different. It was still a sci-fi first-person shooter, so I don't know what people were expecting, but the way in which the online stuff worked was really cool. It had kind of an MMO feel to it. At first it really didn't, it just seemed like co-op, but then they had this live event that happened, and there was an event boss and stuff, and people started coming in from other games. Cool. Maybe it'll work. So we'll see what happens. They talked about Gaikai streaming. Gaikai streaming will be available in 2014. You'll be able to use the Gaikai stuff. They said Gaikai technology will be used, so whatever they call it. Their streaming service, I'll let you play basically PlayStation 3 games on, PlayStation 4, Vita, whatever. So you had that. And then basically at this point, I think everyone was thinking, you just need to tell us the price. And if you say it's lower than $500, you pretty much won. And they came out and went $399 US. So $400. We are $100 cheaper than the Xbox One. Granted, you don't get a camera mechanism, but not everybody wants a camera mechanism, so now you have the choice. For PlayStation 4, you can get an eye if you want it, or you don't. It's up to you. So, fantastic. Again, the crowd went nuts. And then they ended it. They ended it in kind of a weird way to me. I know what they were doing. They were taking their jab at Microsoft while they knew they had them on the ropes there. and talked about them trusting the consumers and, you know, being a trusting enough company to, you know, not care about used games, not have the online thing, and all that kind of stuff, which I'm for, and I'm great, you know, that's great. However, I do remember having to get a new credit card because I was worried when their network went down and they were hacked and all that stuff that someone had my credit card number. So I don't want to go through that again. So that was basically the press conference. Again, it was a great conference. Aside from not really showing us much exclusives, because they kind of already dealt with that at the other conference, we did get some cool facts about games that look cool. So overall, good job. My only question mark really at this point is online. Now that everyone's paying, does this mean it's going to be more secure? We're not going to have to worry about hacks or it going down for a month or anything like that. Is it going to help with servers? Is it going to do all that kind of stuff that Xbox Live uses the money that it makes to make it a better system? So if they can improve the online service and really make it worth that money and make it, you know, similar and comparable to the way Xbox Live works, I'm all for it, and no harm, no foul. It's all good for me. So yeah, so basically at the end of this conference there was a very loud and vocal feeling over the internet of Sony won, and I'd have to agree. Xbox disappointed me. Sony clarified a lot of things and said a lot of things that I frankly didn't think they were going to say. I thought they were just going to have similar things, especially when Microsoft said that the used game thing is going to be up to the publisher of the game. Well, now what publisher is going to charge a fee for used games when if their game is on PlayStation 4, they're not going to have them? So, unless that's the case, but we don't know. Anyways, at this point though, definitely seems like a PlayStation 4 is going to be the popular choice this holiday season for what system to get. And yeah, kind of gonna wrap this up now. There's more E3 stuff. I'm sure we'll do some more videos on it. So this is probably the last one I'm gonna do on my own. But you know, we'll get more people in on this and have more of a discussion on this type of stuff instead of just me talking to you. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And yeah, stay tuned for the next video. Hopefully it'll be a little more interesting than just me. And see ya.